May I ask you, I heard this in another message and was curious about, I'd like to hear more about why new souls believe in old ancient thinking, and that is part of the problem here on the earth.
New souls find memorizing and studying the ancient texts gives them a power and a strength of knowledge that they do not have. They are hungry for being right and getting all the information. They can often memorize and bring forth something they have studied word for word, and yet the words do not make them grow. Because what creates growth is when you understand, you choose to read, and you ponder it, and you take it to the very depth of your being, which there has a voice and questions it and compares it. Yes, judgment does live within each being. Their ability to put perspective on it, their ability to measure its worth or its negativity, its positivity, its weight, its size. All of these things happen with many lifetimes. They're not always learned immediately. So the ancient texts, the ancient ways, hieroglyphics, manuscripts, you might think is an evolved state, but there's something written in stone that they can copy and stand and say the words. But once they can then decipher the words and stand separate from it and using their own words, the understanding, there lies the growth. When choice is involved, but many new souls don't understand choice. They simply understand the brightness of their being's light. And that is exactly as they should. There is a need to memorize sometimes. There is a need for ancient text to be held. But I'll tell you that the true growth lies not within the ancient texts, but within those that read it, used it many lifetimes ago, and now see that it only was that element of control that didn't allow growth, but instead stifled it. Get busy growing, I say to all new souls.
Is it by chance that a new soul comes to the planet into an environment of these things being introduced to them, ancient things? Or do they discover them themselves?
They are often drawn to them, for they are without thought. They are stable. They simply are there.
I've heard it said that if we evolve to a certain point, then as new souls come to the planet, then they are at that point of evolution. Is that true, or would they always then be attracted to something ancient?
They have evolved. They are different, but they still are attracted to the ancient knowledge. It's just simply that it feels safe.
How many lifetimes is still encapsulated in being considered a new soul?
Up to the being.
Because it doesn't necessarily mean new soul, doesn't necessarily mean their first lifetime. Is that right?
New soul, a beautiful fracture of light, a blessed being, eager to learn, to grow, full of expectations and understandings that don't necessarily fit them. But they might try to walk in those sandals that are way too big for them, just simply because they thought someone else wore them and it looked good.
But it's interesting that you would say it that way.
I love you, my son.
Too.
I am with you.